Thank you very much, and it's a real pleasure to be here today to launch this document, and especially the ideas that are in this document. And it has been a year of negotiations, discussions, brainstorming, writing, editing, decisions, discussions again, and maybe some fighting, but in the end, we, along the whole forest-based value chain, from forest and to everything else we can do from forest, and in all those nice green countries, our stakeholders, we have agreed on the way forward. And I also want to say to you, this is the third generation, so as have been mentioned, we started in 2004 with bringing this together. And when you look at those nice 25 green countries, also look around them and the white parts, that's all the clouds of CO2 that our green countries, our forests and products will suck up. So those of you who have been working in some way or another with this document, you also know that last year, more or less exactly 1 year ago in Vienna, we launched our vision document, our Vision 2040. And it's based on 10 very ambitious and very well-formulated vision targets. And I think that's what allows us now to have an agenda that is well elaborated when it comes to the challenges that we have to overcome in order to reach the vision targets. And the research and innovation activities that we have to undertake in order to solve the challenges. So we're now coming to the implementation phase here today. And there are some components of this successful implementation that I'm going to mention. And first of all is that we need help with investing from the public authorities into our research innovation to make this happen. So we need to inspire Horizon Europe and national funding programs to get the funding for the research and the ambitions that we have. We also need, on our own behalf, to create opportunities for more higher added value projects. I mean, we're 28 countries in the EU. We are 25, we have stakeholders from 25 countries, also outside of the EU. And often we do the same thing in all of these different countries. So that's inefficient, and we should spend our resources on doing something together. We should be very careful in encouraging any kind of investments in new technologies, or better technologies, I should say, and better systems. Because this is money that can be used anywhere else, and we need to make it count when we look at the challenges we have. Then finally, this is often forgotten, we need to measure the progress, because if we're not knowing how many steps we're taking, we have no chance of knowing when we're there. And at least now, with the vision, with the clear vision targets, and with this strategic research innovation agenda, we know the path and we know where we want to go. And that is also, was very nice to hear Peter here before me and Lena, but what's going on now in Brussels is very intensive. And Ursula von der Leyen, an incoming president of the European Commission, she said, and I quote, "Becoming the world's first climate-neutral continent is the greatest challenge and opportunity of our times. It involves taking decisive action now. We will need to invest in innovation and research, and we need to redesign our economy and update our industrial policy." So we agree 100% with this. We agree so well that we put this in our own research and innovation agenda. So this is us. The thing is, sometimes, at least I have the feeling, that we are not fully recognized as a value chain by the decision makers. We are the solution. So I'm going to take you through, with the help of some of the vision targets in our vision agenda, the different activities that we'll now go through in our implementation of the strategic research agenda. So as I said, we need to invest, but we need also to get help with investment, especially when it comes to something that is risky. So we hope that by having a concise, intelligent, and a long-term plan, and by being together and as a value chain, we can help to convince policymakers, not only with the correct policy initiatives, but also with the correct funding initiatives. Then we have vision target number 8, which is renewable building materials for healthier living. And the exact vision target is that we should increase the use of bio-based building materials with a threefold until 2040. So it's very ambitious. And just to, because I'm curious, how many of you here work with building with wood? Can you raise your hand? Yeah, so it's a couple of you. So maybe for you it's interesting to study this vision target in particular, and the challenges that we identify, they relate both to the construction system themselves, but also with the wood products. So one challenge, challenge B, improving wood-based products including engineered wood and wood composites. We describe the challenge and we look at examples of research and innovation activities. And one of them is to improve long-term durability and outdoor performance of wood-based products by developing new and sustainable protective treatments and design solutions. So, first of all, the good thing is, as we've seen, it's only a few of us still that has this as the job. But the solution is often found in someone else's brain. So, this is what this kind of collaboration really helps us to accomplish. And this would be the most complicated slide I have. But we need to move the challenge from business to research. That's the only way to solve some challenges. So if we continue from the previous slide, and the specific business challenge in this case would be that we are facing, or we have been facing, bans of different toxic chemicals that are used for wood preservation. We also know that the weathering of wood makes it, for instance, attractive to sell tropical timber. So maybe, I don't know, cutting down a rainforest for your outdoor deck or whatever, instead of using European sourced wood. Now, if you look outside of your bubble and you try to find a solution within research and innovation, one thing we have is the area of nanocellulose. And maybe nanocellulose, because it's light and it's durable and it's very strong, could be used somehow. I mean, this is just brainstorming. Could be used somehow to solve the challenge with weathering wood. So we look at the business opportunities this would create. So if we would be able to use nanocellulose as an additive to, for instance, coatings, maybe we would get super durable wood products. And maybe we would get improved dimensional stability. And maybe because of the electrical capacity of nanocellulose, we could also have some sort of electronic surface on the wood. So sort of a digitalization of the wood product. I mean, this is all speculations and dreaming, but what would then be the research challenge? Because it wouldn't be the research challenge that we set out to do. Now we would have to look at, for instance, the viscosity of nanocellulose or the long-term behavior of nanocellulose in reinforcement or glues and coatings for wood. So the point here is that we need to set the challenges for research innovation. We need to set the challenges, but we don't need to steer the research. But if we all work together, business, research, policymakers, in the right areas, we can accomplish much, much more than what we think. And this is another example. I'm using vision target number 6, which is diversification of production technologies and logistics. And if we want to encourage more investments in technology, one way is, of course, that we find other people to do a little bit of the burden, and that we know where we have still a role to play, even though we, from the starting point, don't think so. So in this vision target, we describe challenges like developing industrial symbiosis. So this is cross-sector cooperation. Can we do it together with someone smarter? We're looking at adopting additive manufacturing technologies. So, for instance, 3D printing is an additive technology. And other new production methods. So this is using emerging technologies that we're not so familiar with yet, but using them for ourselves and our own benefits. We're also talking about improving traceability and chain of custody throughout the value chain. So this is strengthening our value chain and helping ourselves, maybe through digitalization, to show to citizens and our customers that my book, my SIRA, or my table, it comes from wood that is sourced from sustainable and well-managed forests. And one thing that's very important, and so important that we included it as an own vision target, is the creation of purposeful and safe jobs and to link urban and rural areas. And this is maybe not so much a research and innovation challenge, it's more of a social challenge. But still, there are research and innovation components there. And there are almost close to 4 million people who put bread on their table because of the forest-based sector. And when they go home in the evening, they are more than just forest workers or forest industry workers. They are also citizens, and they have children that they want to grow up in a nice climate, let's say, friendly environment, and they want to be able to roam in the forest and have biodiversity too. So their ambition is something that we really can build on, and this is very important. And we need to make them happy, and we need to keep them in our sector. So finally, I'm coming close to the end of launching this SIRA. Maybe I should ask you to think about which is your favorite vision target, and to think about how you can help in reaching it. Which challenge is it that you can help us to address? And as an illustration of that, I take our vision target number 1, which is to have a sustainable forest management, to allow or have a very great biodiversity, and to be resilient against climate change. So with that, I just say to you all, it's time to dream up and team up. Please be good ambassadors for this in the future, and let's work together. Thank you.